2, 3. Hey, it's Dell Jackson. We got a special edition of LO Hoops tonight. It's a pre-LO Hoops Senior All-Star Day today. So I was talking on the email today. I got a hold of Dave Burman, and Dave Burman is known throughout the state, throughout the basketball circles, and he's going to do the PA announcing tomorrow for our game. It's awesome. I can't wait to see him, and we'll give him a mask, and maybe we can get a selfie taken with him. I don't know. You know, he's got the thing. So, hey, Dave, thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing, bub?
All right, Dell, great to finally talk to you in person, right? Pretty much in person on the Zoom here. So how long have you had LL Hoops?
Oh, you're going to interview me tonight, huh?
Not the other way. I want to go back and forth.
No. I'll tell you what.
Late 1999?
It started, I think so. We started, this is our 21st year. So, yeah, it's been, I think the first year I was doing it, Coach Goodling had a heck of a team at Hempfield. And I was doing it. I was between a high school gig and Elizabethtown College. And I did it at Elizabethtown College. And I coached at Donegal, and I did it when I was at Donegal. And it's taken on a new life. No doubt about it.
Unbelievable. Now that I remember the 98-99 Hempfield team with Goodling beat Chester and Jameer Nelson that year. Yep. If you remember during that year.
I do. I was at that game. I mean, I think that was at Hempfield, was it not?
Yeah, Chester, they got blown out too. And I remember the coach was Coach Pickett was not very happy, but anyway, Chester came on strong like they usually do. They went to the state quarters, lost to Williamsport, who eventually won their last state championship, if you remember that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Chester in the second round beat the Pride of Chester, Bird Powell, and his Lancaster McCaskey squad. You might have been at that game.
I might have been there too. I don't know. They all kind of run together. So let's talk about you a little bit. Give us a little bit of your background. I know you do. You have done so much, but just give us kind of a quick synopsis of what you've done and where you're at right now.
Sports fanatic, grew up in, my hometown, born in Chester, lived there went to the Chester School District till 6th grade. Then we moved to Wallingford. You heard of that town. And I graduated from Nether Providence High School in 76, which is Nether Providence is now Strathaven. They merged with Swarthmore. So just got it, growing up in the Philly area, just love sports, just got into it, being from Chester, the basketball, and following the Chester Clippers. They went to the state finals 7 times from 1954 all the way to 1983, 7 times, 0 for 7. Finally won it in 1983, their first time. They won 8 total, the most for any public school in the state of Pennsylvania boys basketball. So got into it after I graduated high school in 76, York College. There's my Central Pennsylvania connection. York, Coach Gamber was he was there for a long, long time. I was there from his beginnings there for York College basketball, and then graduated York in 1980 and got the job at AM 910 with Barry Ford and the gang, Ron Corbin and Kurt Hart, John Beakley, WSBA York, AM 910. Nice. And then from there went on to Harrisburg, WHP for a year, then Carlisle, the Billy Owens years. Left there at 89. Carlisle went down to Harrisonburg, Virginia. Got to know Lefty Drizel, James Madison, Bridgewater College, Eastern Mennonite. That was from 89 to 2002, moved up to Mifflin County, PA, Lewistown, right up the road from you guys in Lancaster County. And then moved back home, wanted to come back home, got out of full-time broadcasting in 2015. Me and my wife moved down here to back to Delaware County, Wallingford. And I've been working in medical supplies warehouse, but doing a lot of freelance, as you know.
Yeah, nice. Hey, so you've done, let me get this right. Have you done print media and radio and TV? Have you done all those?
Yes, mostly radio, but then a lot of TV. A lot of TV when it comes to, actually, believe it, I'm not a political guy, but I actually was the political reporter. It was doing political updates at Juniata County every year. But I didn't know what I was talking about. I just, hey, these many precincts are in, and this guy's a Republican Democrat. I don't even know what a Republican Democrat was. But anyway, so yeah, I did some of that, but mostly, still doing some stuff on the internet now and television. I'm glad you can't see my arms waving, by the way. My wife says my arms are going all over the place
Oh,
here.
yeah, we can see them a little bit. We can see them.
There you
That's
go.
all right.
But anyway, yeah, so, but mostly radio and public address announcing, which I do a lot of for Coatesville. I do public address still for Harrisburg High School football when I get a chance. I do a Chester High football public address. Coatesville doing their football next year, replacing the legendary Ross Kershey's son, Scott. So I'll be doing that. Chester High football, as I said. So a lot of freelance announcing, Strathaven, all over the place.
Let me
And I'm
ask.
doing the LL. The first is my biggest assignment, Lancaster Lebanon Hoops, the senior all-star game. Done a lot of stuff for Bill Gaffey, Mike Gaffey, of course, for the Big 60 shootout that we have at Spooky Nook. We've had that since, I think they've had it about 20 years, but they started to stream the games like in 2013. So I helped them out there.
Nice. Let me
John
ask.
Achille, one of my guys.
Johnny, hey.
Everybody knows John. He helped me do some color. He does some coaching for the Big 60, the Pride of Lamp. Well, actually from Erie, but Lampier's
know.
Prosper.
Yeah, I know. Jerry knew him well too. I mean, he got in tight with his wife and all that stuff. Let me ask you this, because I follow you on Twitter, and you just have number one, you have a lot of current stuff. You know, you get talking to the players, and obviously you enjoy that contact, but you also do a great job with the history. So tell us how you keep that information. Do you do scrapbooks? Do you look up on the internet? How do we get this information that you send out? You know, somebody said the other day about, you know, this team has only played in one championship. I think it was Reading. And you're like, no. Here's 1954 or something like that. So
1934.
yeah. All right. Go ahead and give us the background here.
Well, I've had books over the years, thanks to guys like Jerry Schenk, the late great Jerry Schenk, Mid-Atlantic Sports News, Terry Schenk. And I started collecting stuff back pretty much you're looking at me, the 80s. Basketball stuff, kept all my score books. I think I showed you a picture. My score books are in order. I don't score every game, but a lot of big games over the years, and kept a lot of articles, a lot of Chester stuff, obviously,
Yes.
being the Chester historian. And I just have everything pretty much organized. Now, I just signed up on this newspapers.com website, and it's a subscription, but it's well worth it. And I've been, you cut and paste, you search something online, and I've found some unbelievable stuff, and you'll see some of that now that I'm putting on there, including some, Lancaster Lebanon League teams.
Good. I'm telling you, we somehow, some way, we need to get some of your information on LO Hoops. I don't know how we're going to do it, but somehow, because you don't have a website. At least that's what you told me. Is that correct?
No website.
Okay.
No website.
Right.
But I do have. You can use anything that I have.
Well, yeah. Well, absolutely.
Right, cutting and pasting. And I found something. I know that. And now I lost my train of thought on the Hempfield boys basketball. They made the state playoffs, but they lost to one of our teams. I think Darby Colwyn or Darby Township in the first round back. And then I think I might have put that on the Twitter page.
Yes, you did.
So it's amazing. And now the PIAA has done a great job on their website. They now have, you can look at every team, PIAA.org, and in the history section, every team, you can see every state playoff game they participated in.
Right. They've done a much better job than they've done in the past. I'll tell you what, that's what we do is we do websites, and I don't look around too much, but the District 3 website is awesome. I mean, the scores are up, the brackets are up. I don't know how he does it, but it's incredible compared to others. And I know on the PIAA, I can take a pop at those guys a little bit. It's like, okay, so we're doing the state finals this year, and I got to go and search. I got to go back in to try to find, that should be front and center. That should be like, boom, Hershey this weekend, wrestling, boom. It should be boom. It shouldn't be like, well, you want to be a ref, or here's our schools and here's our rules and here's our meetings. It's like, boom, take a pick. Do what's out there that people want to read. And that's what we try to do. I mean, we're small potatoes, but people like to know what's going on current. They don't like to spend 10 minutes searching and finding things. And I don't know, I think that personally, I think the District 3 website's a lot better than the PIAA. And I don't know, I mean, how's the District 1? District 1 doesn't have a real good site, do they?
It's not bad. They have District 1 PIAA. They have now all the history of every District 1 boys and girls basketball championship game. I helped put that together, and
Okay.
they have a link on the District 1 website for that. So you can see at least on District 1 every championship game, boys and girls,
Oh, nice.
back to 1920.
Do they have box scores or just the finals?
No box scores,
Okay.
but they have the final scores of the game. They have every team's updated record.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
all the
okay.
scores.
How,
And
how,
down-
how current? I mean, is it really, really current or is it?
It's every night, because
Every
I know
night
Sean
it's
Kelly
updated,
there, and
okay.
every night, if the
Okay.
school's calling the scores.
Yeah.
That's the key. School's got to call them the scores, but they do a great job, District 1.
Yeah.
Check it
Okay.
out, District 1.
All right.
And down here, of course, lacrosse this time of year is probably our biggest sport.
Yeah, we had, I know, I did the PIAA girls, I was color with Bruce Bagley, and we had a hell of a time getting information, like out of the Philly schools. We just could not get information. We couldn't get like current games. We couldn't get a roster. We couldn't get like blurbs and not, you would think now see, you're closer to that situation to me.
Philly.com has really tailed off.
Well, yeah,
Philly-
but you would think that there would be a lot of something in Philly covering either like high school basketball. I mean, you know, when you think of basketball in the state of Pennsylvania, where are the best players coming from?
Philadelphia,
Exactly.
Southeastern PA.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you would think there would be a market for that. Number one. Number two, it's like somebody like me should probably pick up the ball. Now, hey, let's talk about City of Basketball. What do you know about them?
Well, Josh, apparently he's been he stopped. He started off great, and then apparently he stopped doing it, and then he's back again, but he stopped. I don't know. He just he's not doing as much, but he's overall, him and his guys have done a pretty good job over the years. They're great writers.
Yeah, they've done something, and we're looking into it. Something called Pantalon or something where you have to. Yeah, it's a subscription thing. You pay them like $3 a month or something, and you can get their stories right away or something. So, you know, I didn't know if you knew anything about that. So I know it was really good for a while. I mean,
He started, Josh, I think summer 2012. Summer 2012 is when he started. Now, Rich Flanagan does a great job reporting on stuff, and he's on Twitter, Rich Flanagan, and he gets pretty deep about the Philadelphia schools. We also have a free, because a lot of newspapers are charging now, we have a free, it's called PA Prep Live, and they give articles, a lot of Bucks County stories, mostly Bucks and Montgomery County teams, and then Dell goes hit and miss, because a lot of the newspapers are charging. And one thing about your website, LL Hoops, there's no charge because you got sponsors.
we try.
It seems like, yeah, you have a lot of guys sponsoring different things. It looks good to me, you know.
I mean, everybody thinks they're kicking in $5,000 a piece. And that's not the case. I tell you, we with our sponsorship, it's been consistent, and this year it's picked up a little bit. And I think that's just because there's been a need for information, and people are checking out. Here's what we found this year: more people checked out our team pages than ever before, like 3 to 4 times more. So let's say, for example, let's take Hempfield High School. Hempfield High School played for league finals, good team, won a district game. So what we do is we put their standings up, we put their games up, we put their record up, we put who they played, the win-loss, and all that stuff. But we also put a roster up. And this year it was 4 times more than what it was last year. So on a typical year, we'll get maybe 300-400 hits on a team page, and the bigger schools get more hits, the smaller schools not as many. And then sometimes when it hits playoff time, teams from up north, from out west are hitting our site because they're trying to get some information. So that's been interesting that it's gone for at least, I can say every team has gone at least 4 times as much. And the only thing I can figure out is that maybe some of these people are watching some live stream games and the players are about, that big and there's no
announcers.
There's no announcers. And then it's like, okay, who is that guy? And then, maybe Johnny tells mom, well, that guy was, Fred. And then, I don't know. I really don't. I wish I could put my finger on it. I mean, we're happy that people are hitting our site. Very, very happy.
Right. I just hope this is, I like the live stream stuff, but next year, hopefully we'll get back to full capacity for games.
Well, we'll see. And I mean, I know you checked it out and I check it out once in a while when I'm out of games, but we were so busy with games. I didn't have a lot of time to watch live stream, but as you're saying, and we found out as well, it's like anybody can put a live stream huddle camera up in the top and watch the ball and watch the guys, and maybe have a scoreboard down the bottom, which is cool. But without announcers, it loses a lot of whatever. And I think, you've experienced it and it. It's like if you watch a game on live stream, if you watch one of our games on live stream, we got really good talent doing the game, which I think makes the game a lot better because, mom wants to hear her kid's name called 3 or 4 times and the kid wants to hear it. And,
you want to see where the ball is on the floor. Now I did Strathaven. I did like 7 of their home games this year, public address. And I talked a little bit more because people could actually hear, would say who scored the basket and periodic time checks. Because parents, I give the time more because the clock at the bottom wasn't working. Now I finally did 4 Chester playoff games on cmpradio.net. All the games are archived.
Okay.
Free network. So I did 4 of their games, actual play-by-play. He sat to the right of me. I sat, Mike right next to me, and it was a live play-by-play. So it's called cmpradio.net. It's on YouTube, and everything's archived. So did a bunch of their playoff games, including their last when they got blown out at home in the state semifinals 5A by Archbishop Ryan, who they got blown out by Erie Prep. Weren't they impressive? Erie Prep.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
That 6'8" sophomore really came on strong. But anyway, so I know what you're talking. So you guys, how many? And I did a couple games for Gene Lambert. For Octorara, did some play-by-play. He had a network himself. Octorara.
We did. It was not. We were down there once. We did Octorara and Lancaster Catholic. I like to catch those two, and they shared their network with us. We had some problems, but I mean, it was like we were on and we were off, and then they took over their network, and it's technical stuff that gets us more than anything else. But they allowed us to do that game, a game down there, which was it was sweet. It was really sweet because I know they weren't letting fans in, and we were more than happy to get down there and watch Big Gene in action, and they had some good players, and Catholic was really good. I mean, I think we better stop going down there because Catholic is smacks them. We've been down there twice, and they now, but 2 years ago up at Catholic,
Octorara beat them.
Oh yeah, took them to the shed. It was an interesting game. So anyway,
and now you want to, where did you go to high school?
Oh well, this. When we first started the website, okay, I would get a lot of emails from Lebanon County. So the history here is the LL, Lancaster, Lebanon County. Okay. So most at the time, and not now, but at the time, the Lancaster newspapers would cover the Lancaster teams. The Lebanon newspaper would cover the Lebanon teams. So there was a little bit of this going on, and even to this day, they're there. So that being said, we would get emails. It's like, oh, you don't understand, blah, 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 blah. And I would go back. I said, well, you know what? Dell graduated from Anvil Cleona. So don't tell me that I don't know what's going on up there in Lebanon County, because I was part of the scene. And way back when Lebanon had Bowie.
So, well, you're about my age. I'm 63.
Well, yeah, but I helped scout for those guys. Coach Hess would send me to he would send me to Scranton. I was in the Scranton, I don't know what gym it was. It was where they all had their playoffs, and
Probably the Scranton CYC.
that's where it was. Yeah.
Kind of like, it looks like the Palestra sort
Yeah,
of, or
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like the Palestra. Yeah.
I was up there twice scouting. I had 2 flat tires in the middle of 81. I'm like, this sucks.
Those were the days. So you were up there. So Sam Bowie graduated 78. They lost a heartbreaker, state finals to Pittsburgh Shenley, if you may recall, 1978.
Yep.
That was his junior year.
Yep.
So Anvil Cleone, you graduated what, 76?
75, and then
75.
I went to Millersville for 4 years, and the last 2 years I did some scouting for Coach Hess, just because it's like he was very meticulous at the time. So their biggest rival at the time was McCaskey. 1 year McCaskey beat them, and they played 5 times. That's when they had the halves, and the first half and the second half. And if you tied for the half, you played off for the half, and then the first half. And they played 5 times that year. And there was a guy named, I think it was Mickey Lopez, was the little guard at McCaskey. But anyway, he would send me to McCaskey, and I swear he saw him 7 times.
Was Pete Horn coaching that?
Oh yeah.
So Pete, yeah, before Bird Powell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Pete's team. So anyway, that's where I got my start, and I was never a player, but I liked the game, and then now you said that you were in Virginia. So how long were you in Virginia?
1989 to 2002.
Okay, I was down there. Boy, when was I down there? I was down there 82 to 86. So I coached junior high.
That's right.
In Winchester, Virginia.
Was that John Hanley?
Yes, John Hanley was our thing, but David Robinson played. I remember the coach sent me out to the boondocks to scout him one day.
They're from Northern Virginia.
Yeah. They had a guy named Mr. Jennings. He played in the NBA.
Mr. Jennings,
for the
yes.
Warriors. And there was another guy. Oh, a kid named Kevin Madden.
Robert E. Lee High School stand.
Yeah, Robert E. Lee. They were pretty daggone good. But
Paul
anyway,
Hatcher, the coach. He was there.
Played, that kid played for Carolina, so it was some good basketball, dude. I'm telling you, it was really, really good.
Yeah, and Robert E. Lee, which is now they changed. They got rid of Robert E. Lee.
Okay. What's the name of the high school now?
Stanton High School.
Stanton High School. Okay.
Because that's what it is.
Right.
The name of the town. Well, back late 70s, Ralph Sampson, Harrisonburg.
Yes.
So Ralph won back-to-back state titles. They had 3 classes back then, double A. And the big rival was Stanton, which is 30 miles south of Harrisonburg, and they were in the same league.
Yeah. I think Harrisonburg and Hanley were in the same, I don't know what they call it down
district.
Oh, they call it
region. I'm sorry, region.
They're regions. Our districts, they're regions. Yeah. And then
the Hanley judges.
Yeah, and then they would have, it was so interesting. I think it'd be cool to do it in this area, but they always did an ACC tournament every year in the league. It was so cool. I mean, that's how they determined who went on. They would take the top team, the top record, and they would take the ACC tournament winner. So everybody was in at the end. So one played 6, and they did that type of thing. And they would take whoever won the league straight up, they went automatic, and then whoever won the tournament would go. And if the same team won the tournament and the league, it's the team that was second in the tournament. It was cool. Right. I mean, it was cool to see the teams again. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like everybody knew each other, and you just kind of knew what you were going to get. And it was just more spread out. It's probably not that way today.
Well, a great team that was also unbelievable back then, Husky Hall, Martinsville, Virginia. Loaded. Him and Robert E. Lee had some incredible battles, and I read about them at 84, 85, 86.
Yeah.
So I remember, I'll never forget those days. I was down there like in 89, Robert E. Lee, state title 90, Waynesboro High School 91. And then the Shenandoah Valley, where I was, Shenandoah Valley, they call it, it's really, really growing, growing. But I'll never forget the Hanley Judges, 1:30 starts Saturday afternoon football. I remember that.
They won a state championship in football when I was down there. I know that.
Yeah, they did.
84 or something like that. So,
yep.
Anyway, hey, let's not talk about Virginia. Nobody knows anything about Virginia.
But that's funny. It's worldwide, so you never know. Might have some of your people.
That's true too. That is very, very true. Let's talk about you and how you prepare for a game. So tomorrow you're going to do the LL All-Stars. You haven't done any of our games this year. You did a little Octorara. So how do you prepare for a game like this? What's your preparation like?
Well, basically, I have the rosters. I have the rosters right in front of me here. Thank you, Tim, for sending them over to me. Okay, send them over. Just look at them, try to make sure, if I have any pronunciation, you help me out before the show here a little bit, and just bring them to the game and make sure I get there early enough. And you just get ready to announce the game. In public address, keep it very simple.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful Hempfield High School here in Landisville, Lancaster County. For how many years has this tournament been around? I was going to ask you, how many years is the All-Star game? The annual Lancaster Lebanon League Senior All-Star game.
Last year we didn't do it, and I'll tell you, they do. It's the Coaches Association that puts it on, and they usually do a fundraiser. So they'll charge people at the door, and they'll take that money. They do two things with it. One, they have a scholarship, which the coaches vote on, and two, they give it to some sort of charity. So the year Coach Powell died, had his problems with cancer, they gave it to the Cancer Society. And recently, when I was coaching way back when I was coaching here, it was late 80s, early 90s. It was a pretty big deal. We would have practices, and it was half nuts, I thought, and it has gotten to the point where it's like watching the NBA All-Star. You get 3-on-2s and guys are dunking or trying to dunk, and no fouls are called. We got 3 referees out there, but tomorrow we won't have a lot of game stoppages for fouls because the score is going to be 100 to 103.
Oh wow, it's going to be that wild and crazy.
Oh yeah. There'll be some good. There'll be some spectacular shows. I think Sapala will put a dunk or 3 on for us. And
how many of these guys have committed to college?
Oh boy.
See, that's what I want to find out too tomorrow. Like when I go to the game, like Bohannon, I think he's playing football somewhere. He from Eastern Lebanon County High School.
Elko. Yeah.
He's a tough ball player. I announced
very
the game.
good.
Elko at Octorara.
Yeah.
So Isaiah Rodriguez, him, Cameron Eberly, Najee Hamilton.
Yeah.
Big upside for him.
Yep.
The big fella for Octorara. So yeah, that's pretty much it, Dell. Just go there and try to do a professional job. And if I need some help from the coaches, and if I mispronounce the name, just tell me right away. If somebody
nobody's gonna boo you tomorrow, that's for sure.
Hope not. But I make sure I have my glasses too.
Yeah.
Gotta have and my wife will be somewhere near me.
That's good. It's
right. But anyway, congratulations to you, 1999 state champs, Anvil Cleona. The great Scott Parra.
Let me tell you, I don't even know where the heck I was. I was at E-Town. I don't know where I was. I was someplace. I wasn't a head coach. I was someplace in the mix of nothing. And the one year that Anvil played in the state finals and lost, they lost to a team out west. They got smoked. I mean, they lost by like 20. That was Steve Escherman's team. Anvil Cleona's been in the finals twice.
I can't remember who that was.
Yeah. They lost twice. I'm thinking it was some academy. I don't know if it was, I don't know, some team out west.
Shady Side Academy.
I'm thinking it might have been. That was the thing that popped into my head. But they've been there twice, and then they won it the second year. So the first time, I think I was at E-Town as an assistant. So the first time, they wouldn't let anybody in. The game was sold out. It was at the old arena. The game was sold out, and they wouldn't let anybody in. Like coaches couldn't get in unless you were Lefty Drizel or somebody important.
Oh man, Lefty.
Yeah. They, they make room for, the Division I guys, but the Division III guys, it's like, no, you got to buy a ticket. I was like, I saw Jerry out in the hall. I said, Jerry, what can we do here? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to walk in with you and pretend like I'm your buddy. And sure enough, I walked in with Jerry, and they didn't look twice. And I got to watch that game, courtside.
Press row.
That's the game they lost. Okay. Now let me tell you about the game they won.
I'm going to find this out here in a second, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure you will.
That was incredible. Scott Perry, I'll tell you more about Scott.
Yeah, well, the kid was on the foul line. He got fouled with 0 on the clock. He made 2 foul shots, and it was wild. So that game was sold out too. Me and my buddy went up, and I didn't have press credentials or anything, and we wound up buying a scalper ticket, and we were up. We were above the second row. We were up there in the top someplace at that game. So, I'm glad I got in.
Hershey, the legendary Hershey Arena.
Well,
so that was 90. So that was 19.
I think 99 they won, correct?
Yeah, 99 they won it all. Didn't they beat Halifax? George Leader and the gang I think in the districts.
Yes.
They beat him in the districts. All right, I got the whole history here. I'm on the PIAA website now.
There you go.
So here we go. So you're talking 90. You go District 3.
It wasn't too past the 90. The 99 team they won. It was a couple years before that. Steve Eshelman was their coach.
Steve Eshelman, Anvil Cleona. Going down the list here. I think it was 90. There it is. Shady Side Academy.
That's all right. All right.
1995.
Yeah, they got smoked.
Yes.
Yeah.
90 to 75.
Yeah. Oh, it was an up and down game, and it was a different style than the Dutchman usually played. But
do you remember Alvernia used to have Jack McCluskey had the Alvernia team camp in the summer, and that's the first time I met Scott Perrin. The summer of '98, they were playing Chester at Alvernia.
Ooh.
And Jameer was going into his junior year, and Perra was coaching against him. And I said, wow, this guy is crazy. He was like wild, and they almost beat Chester that summer. They almost beat Chester, you're talking a smaller school against Chester, and I loved it. And now he's big time college basketball coach.
Yeah. Oh my.
How about our buddy Mike Rhodes from Mahanoy City?
About it.
He was at Lebanon Valley, Randolph-Macon, and then just unbelievable. So basketball is quite a fraternity.
It's kind of cool, and sometimes I get involved with some parents, and they'll write us, and I'll say something like from a coaching standpoint. It's like, okay, so besides Dave Burman, nobody's going to know what you did 10 years ago. However, you're going to have buddies from that team that you'll have for life. You're going to have stories that you'll have for life, and you'll have lessons that you have for life from winning or losing, or just being part of a team that connects you with the school. And, I found that, and you probably know more than me as far as rubbing elbows with people. And we went to Virginia Beach once. We were on vacation, and the waiter was a guy that was a player at Hempfield. And it's just such a small world, and you know better than I do, because you run into guys and you have football on top of the basketball. So, yeah,
and other sports. I think, speaking of sports, Lancaster County with that Spooky Nook being there, that complex. I mean, you could just tell. I mean, they're really well. The lacrosse won a state championship a couple of years ago. Manheim Township boys. Mm-hmm. They came down here and beat LaSalle College. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which was unbelievable. But not only a Catholic, school that can recruit. Yeah. Well, I got to watch that.
Don't say that. You're not allowed to say that. No. We'll get some emails on that one, brother.
Well, I mean, they can a non-boundary school, but anyway, Manheim Township beat them. I was,
there you go, non-boundary school. I'll give him your Twitter. I said, hey, contact this guy. He'll get back to you. I guarantee you. So let me ask you that on the Twitter. Do you ever get into it with people? Like, does anybody write you and say, what the hell are you talking about? Or, you're all wet, or I really like, I know,
no, on
I
the
know you get a
history
lot of
stuff.
positive. I know you get a lot of positive because I read it. It's like, oh, this team won the states, and you and I were talking about Reading High. So what did you share with some of the people from Reading this year?
Yeah, that was their third appearance, fourth in the state final.
Fifth appearance, right?
That I found out through that archives. I had 1934. I think I actually put the box score on. They lost in 1934 in the finals. Lost in Where were you in '73 when they lost to General Braddock?
73.
Stu Jackson.
I was in Cumberland Valley High School with Kirk Kanaski. How's that?
Yeah, he was a tough ball player. So 73 lost by 1 point. That was a hard. Actually, the fourth quarter, the whole game's on YouTube. 1973, Reading, General Braddock, 1 point loss. Then they couldn't even get to the states. Well, they went to the state semis in '83. Rick Binder was the head coach for Reading. Lost to Chester. Then Chester won their first state title in '83. The next time Reading got back to the state semis was in 2016. It took that long.
What was Stu Jackson's year? 73?
Graduated '73.
Yeah. He put on a show in the finals. I mean, they lost, but I think he had 42 points. It was crazy.
Yeah, he had the record until Billy Owens broke it in 1988. I announced that game.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, you've dropped some names, which doesn't surprise me. So, who are some of the best players you have seen and or covered? And I know you can't name one, but you've done a lot. You've dropped some names already.
From Chester, Jameer Nelson. When I was a little kid, Herman Harris from Chester. You're talking 72, 73.
Mm-hmm.
Jameer, the Chester guys, Tyreek Evans from Chester. Guys who made it to the NBA. Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Back-to-back state titles. Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
96 state champs. Beat
You were
Chester.
at that game.
While I was there, I drove up from Virginia. They beat Chester twice. District 1 championship game at Villanova, then 96 state semifinal in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Erie Prep almost beat them in the state final, almost. And then you're talking Billy Owens, obviously, 4 consecutive state titles.
Yeah.
I saw it down in Virginia.
He was special.
Ronald Curry from Hampton, the Hampton Crabbers.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Iverson saw him cover his junior year. He won the state championship. I was there press row in Richmond.
Yeah.
Beat John Marshall out of Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't play his senior year because of the bowling alley incident.
Mm-hmm.
You may recall.
Yes, I do.
And then John Thompson, Governor Wilder, got him off the hook.
Yeah.
And then John Thompson took a chance, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Jack Hurd, Warwick High School, one of the best. Played against Billy. I announced that game in '88. The state.
That was a district game up at Harrisburg, correct?
Farm show.
Yep, at the farm show. I was at that
show.
one. I watched that one. I mean, I was just a fan, just watching it.
Right.
Watch the two good players play each other.
Saw Danielle,
Oh yeah.
1991 grad.
Hey,
Unbelievable team. But they remember the old Glen Mills teams.
Yeah. Well, I lost when I was coaching Penn Manor. We lost to a Glen Mills team, so I don't want to talk about them. They're off the chart. I'm not talking about them. But I do have I got a good Danielle story for you though.
And Mike Miller would love this.
Okay. Well, Coach Miller and I don't know if we're buds, but we know each other quite well. So I'm trying to think of the year. I'm thinking it was 80, maybe it was 88, 90. Anyway, it was in the 80s. So we were in the districts. We were playing Reading. I think we were a 16th seed and they were the 1 seed. Anyway, our guys, we just run around and shoot threes, and we were hitting threes in the first half, and we were up by 17 points at halftime against Reading.
I think that was Danielle's junior year.
Sophomore
year,
because he didn't start. And Coach Miller put him in the second half, and they played a 1-3-1. Danielle was in the back, and he had 10 block shots in the second half. 10.
You still won the game.
Oh, we lost by 3. We just got smoked. They trapped the heck out of us, and we couldn't deal with it real well. And And at halftime, it was funny because we played them twice, 2 years like in a row or every other year. And at both times it was at Governor Mifflin. And the first time I just sat there, I sat there with my assistant coach. It was the first time Penn Manor was in the playoffs. And I'm looking at him. And at halftime, because we were up big, and I had a couple kids that were sick. And the Reading fans came out of the stands and accosted the refs at halftime. I mean, all these dudes are coming down and they were pointing and screaming. And I don't know what the refs are doing. I'm like, well, usually guys run off and they're just like taking abuse. I turned to my assistant. I said, do you think we're going to get any calls in the third quarter? Well, they came out of the trap and we got about that many calls in the third quarter. Not that that was the game, but it was like, oh my gosh, it was just it was a culture shock is what it was. It's like, this is what big time basketball. But anyway, I got to coach him in the Keystone games when the Keystone games were bigger. So yeah, he was funny because they didn't have a rule, but I was rotating guys every 4 minutes, and he'd just look at me like, "Why am I playing more?" I said, "I don't know, it's somebody else's turn." And in the last game, we played a Philly school. I said, "Oh, go ahead and play." He went out and scored like 25 points. And
who's the head coach? Who's the Penn Manor? You were the head coach of Penn Manor, right?
Yeah, I was there for 7 years. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your last year? 90?
90. I'm thinking. I was in Virginia until 86,
you said.
My first year was 86, 87 at Penn Manor. I think I was 92 was my last year at Penn Manor for coaching. Yeah. I kept teaching. I was teaching there.
One of your games. Remember I showed you the box score.
Oh yeah.
I sent you
the
box score.
Yeah.
The 89 I was there when Dennis Cabri led Manheim Township over Steel High.
We played the next year. We were in the semis against Steel High the next year. So yeah, I remember that game. They let one of the bigger kids bring the ball up against Steel High's pressure, and that was kind of key to the game. They had Plackens and Cabri were the two top dogs.
Ed Plackens,
yeah.
So 89. That was the year Chester won their second state title.
See, there you go, man.
Had some battles with Steel High and the Ativo boys.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Ativo, he graduated 89 with Steel High.
Mm-hmm.
89, and they lost to Chester by 15, second round of states. Mike Ativo, he graduated 93. They won at 92.
92 is the year they won, right?
Beat Punxsutawney, yeah.
Yeah.
In 93, his final game was against Chester. That was in the state second round also, both at Igo Complex. Mike Ativo, and then Scott didn't play Chester because Steel High went down to AAA. Chester stayed up. I got a nice picture with Mike too. His sons are really good.
Of course. Maybe tomorrow I'm gonna get. I might get the selfie with you tomorrow. I mean that's like I think I'll hit the big time if I get a selfie with Dave. I'll give you an LO Hoops mask. We'll both be masked up. It'll all be good. I'm thinking, hey, what are your thoughts on the COVID for next year? Do you think everybody's going to be back to normal? Do we think we'll have full gyms? Do you think we'll live stream?
I hope so. Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I would think so because I've done a lot of different events myself. I don't see it in the high school. They're much stricter with, a lot of kids wearing the face coverings, but I've done semi-pro games and, limited, those guys don't have to wear face coverings at the game. So, I mean, I see a lot of, not everything normal, but I would think by then, I'm not a scientist though, but whatever. But I would think by over the summer, maybe we can I don't know.
What do you think? Like teams this year, every high school live stream that we knew of.
They might keep that going.
Okay, so like are the schools going to charge, or are they just going to say, come watch the live stream and we don't care about our gate anymore? Because I know some schools need that gate money.
Right now, the governor, a couple of weeks ago, he said indoors 25%. I would imagine it's going to be 50% by the summer. And then we really, most of the stuff is outdoors, right, in the fall.
Right.
So by November, December, we should be maybe 7. I don't know. I have to wait and see.
Yeah, but I mean, what are your thoughts that do you think high school teams, you're saying they're going to continue to live stream. I'm wondering if they're going to charge or they're just going to open it up for free as it is now. And I wonder how that's going to affect, the game.
I get you. I get you. Oh man, that's a good question. It's nothing like being in a game, live at a game. So I'm at a loss for words there, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been live streaming for the last 3 years. I don't know where it's going for us either.
But that's great because not everybody, I mean, you're live streaming not only local, but the people out of the area that can't get to the games. And a lot of the people that are older that can't get out.
Yeah. It's taken us some time to make some inroads to say we're not taking away from your gate usually. Maybe you lose a couple people, but it's not a big deal because usually the kids want to be at the game with their buddies. I mean, it's a social thing. And then, you know how it is at Chester. You probably got guys that have seen 40 years of basketball sitting in the Chester stand someplace.
Yeah, and those guys missed it this year. Well, actually, towards the end of the year, I think like maybe 5 or 6 games to go, they opened it up. I think there were maybe 100, 150 people at a couple of the games, and some of we call them the old heads.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
The old heads, they sit in the back, and they had a couple of those guys go.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, they had a chance to see it, but they really did enjoy it on TV at least because they had some play-by-play and then they had the live stream on TV. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, just think positive and hopefully we'll be, back to where it totally was before.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because the schools have to make some decisions on how they're going to, go forward. And as you and I talked about, to do a good service, I think you need somebody behind the mic and somebody that's decent at it. You know what I mean?
Well, every school. How about the kid? Have a student that wants to get in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of that. Yeah. How about half? Like 3 or 4 of the teams in the state finals. You want to talk about face coverings? Half didn't have them, or 3 or 4 didn't have them, and then some teams did. So there's the difference. You see, you saw it flat with Erie Prep, Loyal Sock, Bishop Guilfoyle Girls, and the team from Pittsburgh, Olsh, the Our Lady of Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
So I think we'll all be unified, hopefully by
I have some of these, and I'm thinking I should give them away tomorrow. What do you think?
Great move.
I mean, if I don't need them next year, I mean, I might as well give them away. Somebody can put them in their scrapbook.
I look at it like the face coverings, make it optional, like a lot of other states around the country. Make them optional, and then some people,
Yeah, I don't know. We did the one game we were watching, and I don't remember the names of the teams, but the one team did not have masks, and the other team had the Gators. You could pull them up. The Gators.
Was that the state finals?
It was in the state finals, yeah. But it was like the one team didn't have masks. We asked about it. It's like, how does that happen? Well, the schools can do. We're not going to wear them, and
it was a I forget the word now.
They could opt out.
A waiver. They signed a waiver.
They had to sign a waiver
because in their eyes, their school board thought the mask could be detrimental to the breathing and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, but what it was kind of cool because the other team had the Gators, the pull-up things, and they just took them down. So it was pretty cool because those guys still had their Gators around their neck, and the other team didn't have anything. But it was like, okay, it was even Steven. But we did ask about that, so I know LL is really tight about it. So I'm assuming tomorrow you're going to see a lot of mask wearing in the gym, but you'll still see some dunking and you'll see some threes, and we'll try to when you get there, we'll try to get you a list of who's going to what schools. A lot of the kids have already committed. And I'm not gonna, because I know I'll misspeak. If Andy was here, he would have them nailed down. But
7:00 tomorrow night, or Tuesday night.
Yeah. Well, Tuesday night's tomorrow, there, dude. Yes. Don't miss it. Don't show up Wednesday.
Right.
There'll be nothing there. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
How about this guy, Max Scipione? I pronounce that right? From Cedar Crest.
Scipione.
Oh, Scipione.
Yeah. And
There we go.
yeah, Scipione, Cedar Crest. They had a real rough year this year, but I'm telling you, he was player of the game for us one game, and he had a nice senior season. And Scipione's a big name at Cedar Crest, one of those family names, and
Great sports out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of our very own, Todd Rucci. Todd's from Upper Darby.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his sons, both of his sons, tremendous high school football players. One's at Wisconsin already. So, yeah, we could go on and on, Dell.
Yeah, that's good. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, dude. Like I said, I gotta converse with you a little bit. We'll put some of those links up for the District 1 site and some of those
Oh, yeah.
some of those medias, and kind of we're touching. Our site it's kind of we're kind of like this, we're like LL, but we like to bring in, we kind of got some Reading, we got a little bit of York, but
You got my man from Chester, Curtis Watkins, Delaware.
yes, yeah, he's got his own thing. And I'm telling you, I'll throw that out to you anytime, man. If you want to write or put some videos up, or even do what you do on the Twitter, take some pictures and say, hey, we can do a lot of stuff that we're all. The thing is, Dave, and you kind of figured this out with us, it's like we're just all about sharing the love. And you're not going to see from us a story. It's like, well, that coach sucks, or the player missed a foul shot at the end of the game. And it's not that. It's like, okay, what positive things are going on out there in the basketball world? One team's going to win, one team's going to lose. That's the way it is. But there might be some stories out there that are pretty cool, and some coaches that are doing some good things, and they get in the history books. We should probably do something with you and down the road. So it's an open invitation. We'll
do it. And Terry Shank, who's still alive and well. Terry's still hanging in there. They have met so much. They used to talk about you all the time. You're talking the late 80s, 90s.
Somebody contacted me after Jerry died and offered me his stuff, and I wrote, and it didn't connect, and I wanted all his stuff. He had all that Reading stuff. He had all those books. They're gone. But
I asked Terry about it. He doesn't know what happened.
They're gone. Yep, they're gone. Somebody reached out at one point, and I just think it just got mixed up. I said, "Oh, I'll take them." I might have needed a shed for him, but that's okay, And I'll tell you what, he is still on our site. You got to know where to look for him, but he is still on our site as far as pre-LL, 2,000 point scorers, and we still have some of his rankings up on our site. That it's under a different title, but people talk about him still. So he touched many lives. There's no doubt about
all
it.
that history. Hey, big shout out Jerry Johnson, La Academia. Is that the newer school? They made a heck of a run this year. They beat Chester Charter, and that's another team I do public address for, Chester Charter down there, in overtime.
Yeah.
La Academia beat them. So Jerry Johnson, am I pronouncing it correct?
Jerry Johnson.
La Academia.
La Academia. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Charter school. It's a new school, just started up in Lancaster City. So
yeah, Jerry was a great player for Bird Powell too.
Yeah, fantastic. He was. I consider him one of the best jump shooters that I've ever seen in high school, because I have pictures of him. That's when we first started, and Dave Porter. Do you know Dave?
Oh, absolutely. He did photography. Big Chester guy. I think his dad's originally from Chester.
Yeah, he would do some photography, and he got us started in a lot of that stuff. But he had pictures. I swear he was up. He was off his feet like 2.5 feet on jumpers, and you just don't see that in high school kids. They get off their feet a little bit, but I mean, he just raised up, and he was a smart player. He was good. He could handle. He could shoot. Great work ethic. I mean, how can you play as much as he's played in professional basketball without having the work ethic? You know what I mean? I mean, guys that don't work, Dave, they're just not there. There's nothing natural about this sport. And I think people don't understand that. They see LeBron James and they're like, oh, he's a natural. It's like, no, that dude, okay, he can jump. Okay, he can jump. That's natural. But nobody learned how to do the things he did, shoot the basketball, dribble the basketball, play defense. It's like there's nothing natural about the game except for running and jumping. The rest of it's skill.
It's
just
fundamentals.
Skill. Yeah, it's skill. And if you don't have the skill, it's like, you can jump out of the gym and you can run faster than anybody, but if you can't put it together, you're not going to make it very far. So
right. So I'm glad you're doing this, man. I mean, the whole LL hoops. It's just keep it going.
All right, we'll try, man. We'll try. We'll keep on banging on them sponsors' doors so we don't have to charge for pay per view for our live stream next year. We've played with that, and I'm just not. It's one of those things where we have to pay for certain things, and right now, as you said, everybody can come to our site for free. And I think we start charging people and, my website's going to probably take a major hit. That's just me.
It looks like you have a lot of sponsors, but I'm putting the word out there. Because when I was in full-time radio, I did a little bit of sales, marketing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather say marketing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know how important it is to keep radios, because radio stations don't charge.
No.
No,
and those guys. We have Lebanon has their radio. They do some games. They do
WLBR 1270.
They still do games, and they do they do it on the FM and the AM, but it's boys and girls, and Lancaster doesn't do anything as far as radio. None.
Amazing.
And you can't get sponsorships, and that's the problem. That's one of the reasons that teams or radio stations don't want to go down that road. They're like, why? Number one, how many people are going to listen to us, and number two, who's going to kick in the money to pay for our equipment, to pay for our guys, and all that stuff. I mean, I don't need to tell you how it goes. But I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. We'll put this up tonight.
Bruce Emsweiler, Bruce Bagley. My man, Eric Thomas, you talk about a guy who's intense and passionate. Yeah. Eric Thomas. Real quick, the baseball park that is behind me?
I'm thinking, is that Forbes?
Connie Mack Stadium.
Oh, well. See, you're older than me.
Forbes Field, Danny Murtaugh, 2 World Series. Where's he from? Chester. Went to Chester. All right, so we can go on. Thanks a lot, Dell. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thank you. See you tomorrow night.
Yeah, you got it.
Bye.